Imagine this. You're standing at the edge of everything you've ever wanted. The life you dream of isn't a fantasy, it's waiting. But it won't come closer unless you move toward it. Each breath you take is a brushstroke on the canvas of your destiny. The only question is, what will you create? This isn't about someday. It's about today. The truth that changes everything is simple. Transformation doesn't arrive like lightning. It unfolds drop by drop, choice by choice, day by deliberate day. And right now, you hold the pen, the paintbrush, the power. Think about this. Oprah didn't rise to greatness through a single decision. Elon Musk didn't shape the future with one groundbreaking launch. Serena Williams didn't become a legend from one championship match. What they mastered wasn't a secret. It was a set of daily decisions, repeated with conviction, fueled by vision, shaped by grit. That's what this is about. 10 essential rituals that, if embraced consistently, will reshape not just your habits, but your identity. These aren't rules. They're keys. They open doors to the life you're capable of living. Let's start with the one thing that ignites everything else. Intention. Every morning, before the noise of the world crashes into your peace, there's a sacred moment, a quiet breath. That instant, right there, is the birthplace of direction. Don't let it slip by. If you don't steer your day, distractions will. You don't need a list of 50 things to do. You need one commitment, just one goal. Sharp, specific, real. That's all it takes to turn an ordinary day into a brick in the foundation of your legacy. It doesn't need to be flashy. It just needs to be true. Are you deciding to speak up in a meeting? To finally finish that one project? To learn something that scares you a little? Good. Because clarity is momentum. A mind with purpose can't be stopped. It becomes a force. Start small, but start with precision. Because a clear goal isn't a task, it's an anchor. It reminds you who you are, and more importantly, who you're becoming. That's what winners do. They define their direction before the world tries to define it for them. But here's the part most people miss. Clarity alone isn't enough. The mindset you carry into the day fuels your results. And the most powerful mindset, gratitude. Not the kind you post on social media. I'm talking about the quiet kind. The kind that humbles you, centers you, elevates your perspective. Before your feet hit the floor, pause. Reflect on 3 things, big or small, that make your life rich. Your breath, your family, your chance to try again. Name them, feel them. You see, when you begin from a place of appreciation, you unlock an inner resilience. Challenges don't seem so impossible. Obstacles become puzzles instead of walls. And your energy, it shifts. You move from survival mode to creation mode. Because here's the truth. Your thoughts shape your experience. And you get to choose them. Not once. Every single morning. This isn't fluff. It's brain chemistry. A thankful mind becomes more adaptable, more optimistic, more powerful. So no matter what comes, you respond, not react. That's emotional mastery. And it starts in a moment of reflection. Pair that with your daily target, and you've already won before the world even knows you've woken up. Now here's the game changer. When you repeat this practice day after day, you stop chasing change and start becoming it. Let's make it real. Tomorrow morning, set one intention. Say 3 thank yous. Let that be your launch pad. Because when you begin with clarity and gratitude, the rest of the day bends in your favor. Let's take it further. Now that you've claimed your mornings with purpose and appreciation, it's time to build the internal engine that drives results. Self-mastery. This is where most give up. But not you. Because here's the real talk. Your life will not rise higher than your level of discipline. Motivation is fleeting. Inspiration fades. But habits rewrite your reality. Let's reframe discipline. It's not restriction. It's power. The power to act, even when your feelings scream, not today. the power to honor your word to yourself. That's not punishment. That's freedom. Every champion you admire, whether it's Simone Biles, David Beckham, or Malala Yousafzai, they all share one invisible trait: the ability to stay committed, even in silence, even when no one's watching, even when it's hard. They built their strength in quiet, ordinary moments. The early mornings, the extra reps, the pages read when everyone else scrolled, and they kept going, especially on the days they didn't want to. Why? Because they trained their identity, not just their actions. When you show up again and again, even in discomfort, you stop seeing yourself as someone trying to change. You become the person who shows up, who finishes, who wins. So here's your challenge. Every day, do one thing that stretches you. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Say no to a comfort that keeps you small. Push past your usual quitting point, not to prove anything to others, but to prove to yourself that you're in charge now. Because the moment you stop outsourcing your power to moods or motivation, the game changes. Let's make this even more potent by taking control of your self-talk. What you say to yourself, even silently, shapes your outcomes more than anything else. Words are not harmless. They're commands to your subconscious. If your inner dialogue sounds like, "I'm terrible at this," "I'll never figure it out," or "this always happens to me," stop. That's not honesty. That's programming. And it's optional. Rewire it. Replace "I can't" with "I'm learning how." Swap "I'm not ready" with "I'm building strength." Shift "I always fail" into "I'm getting better every day." These aren't affirmations for the mirror. These are battle commands. Mental recalibrations. Language that aligns with your future, not your fears. Every time you speak with confidence, even when you're uncertain, you sculpt a new path in your brain. You teach your system to believe in progress over perfection. And eventually, you don't just sound stronger. You are. This is how you build an unstoppable core. Clarity in the morning. Gratitude as fuel. Discipline as the engine. Language as the compass. But there's one more layer to unlock. Focus. Because in a world that trades your attention for profit, your concentration is your most valuable asset. Guard it like royalty. Kill the noise. Silence the pings. Close the unnecessary tabs, literally and mentally. Create blocks of time where only one thing matters. And during that time, go deep. No multitasking. No drifting. Just total engagement. Because when you train your brain to enter that state of flow, you accelerate results in ways most people never experience. You get more done, more meaningfully, in 2 focused hours than in 10 scattered ones. Here's your reminder. Success doesn't belong to the busiest. It belongs to the most focused. So, what does your focused life look like? What would happen if you gave your undivided attention to your health, your craft, your mission? You'd rise, faster than ever. This isn't theory, it's a blueprint. Choose discipline, speak powerfully, protect your focus, and you will begin to outperform, outlast, and outgrow the version of you that's settled. And that's just the beginning. You've set your vision. You've trained your mind. Now, it's time to build momentum that doesn't break. Here's the truth. Nothing changes until you move. All the clarity, discipline, and intention in the world mean nothing without motion. You don't need to be perfect. You need to begin. Every great creator, every world-class performer, every trailblazer in history has this in common. They didn't wait for perfect timing. They started where they were, with what they had, and they kept showing up. Think of Steven Spielberg making short films on an old camera before he was allowed on a real set. Think of J.K. Rowling writing on napkins while raising her daughter alone. Think of Michael Jordan getting cut from his high school team, but refusing to quit. It's not talent that makes legends. It's consistent action, even when no one's watching. So ask yourself, what tiny step can you take today? What move, however small, can shift your story forward? One email, one conversation, one workout, one page. Because here's the law most people ignore. Small steps compound. A single focused action today, repeated daily, becomes a life transformed. It's not flashy. It's foundational. And if you pair that momentum with another power move, you accelerate your growth even faster. Here it is. Choose discomfort on purpose. Sounds odd, right? But hear me out. Comfort zones are invisible prisons. They feel safe, but they're cages. Every time you lean away from something that challenges you, be it physical, emotional, or mental, you trade growth for ease. Growth doesn't live in ease. It lives in the tension of trying, in the awkwardness of learning, in the resistance of fear. Want to get stronger? Lift heavier. Want to grow your business? Make the tough call. Want to lead? Speak up when it's easier to stay quiet. Those who rise, those who build legacies, they don't chase comfort. They use discomfort as a compass. They know the hard thing is usually the right thing. So here's your daily challenge. Do one thing that stretches you. Something that nudges you beyond easy. Maybe it's saying no to something that drains you. Maybe it's finally hitting publish. Maybe it's asking for what you deserve. That tension you feel when you resist. That's the exact moment you're building muscle. Mental muscle, emotional strength, leadership bones. And the more often you do it, the more natural it becomes. Discomfort stops being a threat and starts being a signpost. That's how leaders are made. But even challenge, even action needs fuel. And nothing fuels the mind like learning. Every day you don't learn, your mind stays where it is. You recycle the same beliefs, the same reactions, the same limitations. But the moment you expose yourself to new wisdom, whether through a book, a conversation, or even a video like this, you invite change. You expand your framework. You make room for new possibilities. The sharpest thinkers in the world, from Warren Buffett to Michelle Obama, all share one thing. They are students forever. They know that knowledge isn't about collecting facts. It's about unlocking new ways to think. So here's your pact. Spend 30 minutes every day sharpening your mind. Read. Reflect. Watch something that stretches you. Don't just consume. Engage. Because in a distracted world, focus is rare. Depth is rare. And you're becoming rare. So stack it now. Move daily. Lean into challenge. Learn relentlessly. That's how momentum becomes a way of life. Not a moment. Not a phase. A way of living. A standard. And guess what? Once momentum takes hold, resistance fades. Doubt shrinks. Confidence expands. You stop chasing progress, and progress starts chasing you. Now that your inner game is sharpening, let's shift the lens outward, because no matter how strong your mindset, your environment matters. Here's a principle the most successful people on earth live by. You rise or fall to the level of those around you. Your surroundings shape your standards. They amplify your courage or water it down. They reinforce your identity or challenge you to upgrade it. So ask yourself honestly, who are you listening to? Who are you walking beside? Who are you becoming more like? Just by proximity. Because here's the truth. Energy is contagious. Belief is contagious. And so is doubt. If the 5 closest people in your life settle, you will start to shrink without even realizing it. But if they think big, take bold actions, challenge their limits, you will too. Not because you try, because it becomes normal. You don't need to cut people out with bitterness, but you do need to curate your circle with care. Surround yourself with voices that lift you, not lull you. Choose mentors who've done what you dream of doing. Build friendships that energize, not drain. And don't just look for successful people. Look for growth-minded people. There's a difference. The real power is in being around those who aren't finished yet. Those still stretching, still learning, still rising, because they remind you, greatness is a journey, not a destination. And as your circle rises, so will your standards. That's not a coincidence. That's physics. But here's what most miss. None of this works without the final piece: reflection. This might be the most underrated tool of all, because progress is invisible if you don't pause to measure it. Each night, before the world fades to black, take a moment. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? What stretched me? Where did I hold back? What lesson is trying to find me? This isn't about guilt. It's about growth. It's not about regret. It's about refinement. Because reflection is where experience becomes wisdom. Without it, you repeat the same days. With it, you evolve at warp speed. Write it down if you need to. Speak it out loud. Think deeply, even briefly. But never let a day pass without learning from it. That's how leaders operate. They don't move blindly. They move deliberately. Each day is a step. Each step is adjusted. That's how empires are built. Not in chaos, but in conscious course correction. So here's your new nightly ritual. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Acknowledge where you can grow without shame. Decide one way you'll rise tomorrow. That's it. That's how you close your day, like a builder, not a bystander. When you combine a powerful morning with a mindful evening, you turn time into a force multiplier. You stop surviving the days and start sculpting a future. So remember, curate your circle, reflect with purpose, elevate constantly. You're no longer at the mercy of your surroundings. You're designing them. You're not hoping for influence. You're choosing it. This is where your world begins to shift, not because you wished harder, but because you built smarter. And the world, it responds to those who build. Let's talk about why. Why are you doing this? Why are you waking up earlier, thinking deeper, pushing harder? Because real success, the kind that lasts, the kind that fulfills, doesn't come from chasing goals. It comes from living on purpose. Purpose isn't something you stumble upon one day. It's something you build, one meaningful decision at a time. It's not found in a title, a salary, or a social media following. It's felt in your contribution, what you bring to the world that only you can. And when you live on purpose, everything shifts. Setbacks don't stop you, they sharpen you. Failure doesn't defeat you, it teaches you. Discomfort doesn't scare you, it strengthens you. You stop asking, is this worth it? And start saying, this is why I'm here. Let's make something clear. Your purpose is not a job. It's not even a single mission. It's the impact you create through the way you live, love, build, and serve. It's your reason and your reward. But here's the secret. Purpose needs a vehicle, and that vehicle is resilience. You will face resistance. You will be tested, not because the universe is cruel, but because growth always demands proof. Do you really want this? Are you truly ready to lead, to rise, to sustain what you create? Those who back down at the first sign of struggle don't lack talent. They lack emotional endurance. And that's trainable. So train it. Each time something knocks you down, pause, breathe, and rise. You don't need to be unshaken. You just need to keep moving. Because that's resilience. Not the absence of emotion, but the refusal to surrender. Remember, every hero you admire, Nelson Mandela, Marie Curie, Muhammad Ali, had seasons of doubt, but they kept going, not because it was easy, because their vision was bigger than the moment. So, what's your bigger vision? What legacy are you shaping in the quiet choices of today? You're not just building habits. You're building character. You're not just changing routines. You're changing your trajectory. And that's why it matters. Not just for you, but for everyone who watches you, learns from you, is inspired by your example. Because whether you realize it or not, you're someone's blueprint. Someone out there will decide not to quit because you didn't. Someone will raise their standards because they saw you rise. That's the ripple effect of purpose. It multiplies, but you have to choose it over and over, not once, daily. So when it's hard, remember your why. When you're tired, remember your why. When doubt creeps in and fear whispers and progress feels slow, remember your why. Because your future doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for persistence. And purpose is the fuel that turns effort into legacy. You've come too far to stop here. The hardest days are the ones that shape the strongest you. Lean in. Trust the process. Keep your eyes on what matters most. Because the moment you align with your purpose, you don't just chase dreams. You create movements. And the world, it needs more of those. So here we are, the turning point. You've seen the tools. You've felt the energy. You know now. Greatness isn't a mystery, and it isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's built, day by day, through choice, focus, and alignment. But now comes the real question. Will you use it? Not next year. Not someday. Now. You see, the life you want, it's not hiding. It's waiting for you to show up differently. And every one of these 10 practices we've explored, they're not steps on a ladder. They're pieces of a foundation. Start your day with intention. Begin with gratitude. Speak to yourself like a champion. Embrace the uncomfortable. Protect your focus. Discipline your mind and actions. Learn like your future depends on it, because it does. Choose your circle wisely. Take consistent, bold action. End each day in reflection and growth. These aren't just habits. They're levers. Pull any one of them, and you elevate. Practice all 10. You become unrecognizable in the best possible way. But it's not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming fully, undeniably you. The version you've always felt was possible, but maybe never had a map to reach. Well, now you do. And the beauty is, you don't have to master it all overnight. You just have to begin with one choice, one change, one step. Because momentum rewards movement, discipline rewards the doer, and life honors the one who acts, not the one who waits. You're not here to stay comfortable. You're not here to play small. You're here to build, to lead, to live fully. And everything you need to do that, it's already within you. The clarity, the grit, the wisdom, the fire. So ask yourself, what will I commit to today? What part of me am I ready to upgrade? Who am I choosing to become? Not in theory, but in action. Write it down. Speak it out. Feel it in your bones. And then go live it. Because the clock won't pause. The world won't wait. But your future? It's still yours to shape. So make the move. Stack the days. Build your rhythm. And never forget, it's not the loudest who lead. It's the most consistent. It's not the fastest who win. It's the ones who refuse to stop. This is your time. Let the world see what happens when clarity meets courage, when discipline meets purpose, when a single soul decides, I will not be average. I will rise. Not later. Now.